The aim of our project is to design a successful development that utilises principles of sustainability to improve both social and economic systems within the Macarthur Gardens North site. This will be achieved through environmental sustainability, including energy efficient and ecologically considerate housing innovation to form a long-term, economically efficient and environmentally regenerative precinct. Additionally, through social sustainability, such as diverse housing types and tenures, housing that targets all citizen needs and mitigates growing wealth inequality is created. Initially, a literature review was conducted to critically analyse the most appropriate ways of housing development. A closer look into housing in Western Sydney found a slum stigma has been created in the precinct due to rapid development that did not focus on the needs of citizens, instead prioritising economic gain. The relative affordability of Western Sydney is one of the region's most attractive features, aided by government interventions such as home purchase subsidies. Despite this, our analysis found that current public housing is only given to the very neediest and does not suit the demands of most lower-income residents, meaning a high quality of life is simply unachievable for a large group of Western Sydney residents. Finally, our analysis concluded that the ideal size of a public housing opportunity in Western Sydney would be a medium-density collection of homes integrated into the community. This housing stock would need access to services that provide opportunities for improved quality of life, such as transportation, employment, and education.
Property investing is considered responsible when environmental, social, and corporate governance considerations have been accounted for in the opportunities and limitations of a development. It is in the benefit of companies' reputation and share value to invest responsibly, as the property sector is inextricably linked to these three factors. Incorporation of ESG concerns outweigh their limitations. A study found though LEED-certified buildings cost 2 to 3% higher on average than one of the same design without green initiatives, they return 20% of initial expenditures through life cycle savings, growing to 10 times their cost.
The final aspect analysed in our literature review were models to achieve effective social housing and the long-term impacts of these, particularly focusing on Crabtree's model. This cooperative housing model allows lower-income residents to invest in the asset economy. The model is similar to cooperative rental housing, where residents pay additional regular amounts of money as an investment on top of the administration fee. This acts as an ethical and safer investment vehicle, where the resident can leave at any time and gain equity on their investment. Repercussions of investing in sustainable social housing are improved mental health, decreased financial stress due to long-term economic degrowth, ecological benefits such as mitigating natural disasters and climate change, and a better connected, less economically divided community.
Some major attributes of the site's surroundings are the transport options, both the trains into the city and the surrounding bus links. The Macarthur precinct identified as the major destination for retail, tertiary education and health services in the region. This is shown by the proximity to Western Sydney University, TAFE, Campbelltown Hospital and Macarthur Square Shopping Centre, all within walking distance from the site. The land itself is zoned as R4 and B4, which makes it suitable for flat residential buildings like mid-rise apartments and single and multi-house dwellings, as well as higher density mixed-use development. The site's soil types, low-lying land, and proximity to Boboan Creek puts it at risk of floods, which can have financial and physical risks to the building itself and its inhabitants, reducing long-term feasibility. Currently 7.1 hectares of the 18.3 is native vegetation, most of which is used by birds, bats, and aquatic life. This vegetation is able to reduce the likelihood and severity of flooding, yet increases the risk of fires. The surrounding environment, especially vegetation, should be retained where possible to reduce impact on animals and people alike.
A demographic analysis of the site reveals a population of 53,000 people, 20% of which are facing housing stress, with over 900 being homeless. 34% of citizens are recent migrants, with a lower average age of 34 compared to 36 in Greater Sydney, proving to be a much younger population than most of Sydney. The socio-economic landscape of Macarthur is lower than Greater Sydney, making over $200 less each week on average per household.
Many strategic and statutory plans and policies are relevant to the Macarthur Garden site at a national, state, district and local level. Some policies give specific guidelines and restrictions to new developments, whereas some help to strategically plan for the future. The Environmental Protection and Conservation Act was designed to protect national and environmental assets. With reference to Macarthur Garden site, several hundred grey-headed flying foxes were observed in the 2006 survey, which are referenced as a threatened fauna species in the EPBC. This is also the case for the Cumberland Plains shale woodlands and shale grail transition forests. Therefore, it is critical to understand the site and its ecology in order to protect these species and communities. The Affordable Housing SEP sets standards to which all new developments must achieve. This includes the provision of affordable housing, dwelling sizes, floor space ratios, landscaping, as well as sun access. The design quality of residential flat development SEP also has a list of design quality principles in the first schedule, and this is supplemented by more principles in the apartment design guide below.
The Local Environmental Plan and Development Control Plan for Campbelltown provide the limits and possibilities of developing on this site. With height limits of 32 metres, our highest developed building can be 10 stories. The majority of the site is high-density residential, with a small patch of mixed-use residential running through. Another significant part of the LEP includes the terrestrial biodiversity section that was implemented to protect native flora and fauna, including eucalyptus trees and several animals on site. Some significant DCP requirements include sustainable building design, encouraging reducing energy consumption, use of solar power and water recycling. Specific requirements for high-density residential zones include making sure building design complements the present and future character of the neighbourhood, ensuring equitable access to natural light and ventilation for occupants, and providing high-quality living environments. Requirements for mixed use include designing with high architectural merit, articulated front facades, active retail and commercial street frontages, and integration with public transport, pedestrian and cycleway networks.
Our concept plan retains most of the zoning allocations proposed by Landcom, with alterations in the ratios of low and medium density housing. We also altered the openings between built forms to create a pedestrian network that provides users easy access through the sites. Each housing block also features a central courtyard to provide spaces for community integration, all of which are publicly accessible apart from the medium density housing. The forest will feature further community amenities such as picnic facilities, community gardens, playgrounds, and outdoor gyms.
Our housing makes use of a variety of housing and tenure types, with a range of owner-occupied, social housing, cooperative tenure and boarding houses that accommodate for a range of family structures. This ensures accessibility by accommodating for all life stages and increasing social heterogeneity, improving opportunities and quality of life. Mixing tenure types also allows for suitable and accessible housing for all needs, reducing housing stress. Affordable housing is accounted for in the owner-occupied and cooperative housing that aids feasibility. Mixed-use buildings will also have dedicated retail and commercial space on the first floor to provide additional facilities and income streams to residents.
The implementation of medium-density housing is essential to our project because it uses lower land and energy consumptions than detached dwellings, has easiest development for council approval and labour availability, and allows shared communal living spaces or open spaces to increase social interaction.
Implementing eco-friendly housing is an important part of our development, involving water management, waste management, and energy efficiency. Possible water management implementations include bioswales, water features running on recycled water, and a biofiltration garden. An eco-friendly waste management option that also encourages community engagement are shared keyhole compost gardens, and energy efficiency can be maximised with similar use rooms being grouped together inside dwellings.
As part of our literature review, we looked at an analysis of ESG ratings across a board of Canadian property developers that drew comparisons between financial performance of low and high scoring companies over a 5-year period. The results concluded high ESG companies consistently outperformed the low, with an average difference of 8%, showing strong correlation between responsible property investing and positive financial returns. Increases in average ESG rating scores from 4.3 out of 10 in 2003 to 5.1 in 2007 were also noticed, indicating a shift in market values and a demand to keep up with changing industry benchmarks.
As part of our design proposal, we have completed a revenue versus cost analysis. This factors in the revenue accumulated from selling of the market value apartments to the cost of producing these apartments. Currently, we have excess funds which we would like to direct towards the funding of the social, affordable and student housing.